This is the Vive XR Elite, one of the most advanced standalone VR headsets on the market. This headset got a bit of a bad rap when it first launched, but there's a lot to like here. It's improved a massive amount from when it first launched, and there's features here that are just not possible on something like a Meta Quest. I'm going to be reviewing the XR Elite along with 5 ultimate trackers for full body tracking, which HTC sent over to me. I did previously make a video on the ultimate trackers, which I'll link down below. This video will be focusing more on the XR Elite. So the Vive XR Elite is a complete standalone VR headset. You can also use this with PCVR, which I will be talking about later. The headset features a 1920x1920 LCD display and weighs around 625 grams with the battery attachment. Now, one of the more interesting features with this headset is that it's very modular and you can easily switch out what back strap you want to use. You can change the face cover or even just use it with a separate battery attachment, which is pretty cool if you like to use VR while laying down. That way it's way more comfortable than any other headset with your head against a pillow. And without the back battery attachment, it only weighs around 270 grams, so it's super light on your face. As far as overall comfort when using this, they sent over their new deluxe strap and it's now one of the most comfortable headsets I own. And I don't really feel it on my face, it's pretty awesome. I feel like you can get some pretty long sessions in VR without having that annoying face fatigue. One thing I'm not really a fan of is their new face cover, which can be easily switched out with third-party options, by the way, but by default it comes with this foam thing that a lot of headset manufacturers have been using for years, and I'm gonna be honest, I hate that thing. It's definitely comfortable, but this thing eats up sweat and I guarantee it'll get gross after a few VR sessions. You can easily switch this out with a third-party option like VR cover, but when the Vive XR Elite initially launched, it came with this microfiber face cover material. It wasn't super comfortable on the face, but it was a lot more sweat resistant and lasted longer. They also include a mixed reality gasket with the deluxe strap kit that simulates the Quest Pro off the face design, which, by the way, this has better material and is actually sweat resistant, so I'm not sure why they didn't just do that for the face cover that blocks out light. But regardless, overall comfort on the XR Elite is great, one of the most comfortable headsets I've used, but can we please stop using foam face covers for VR headsets? They're terrible. IPD and Volume can be adjusted on the headset with physical control in case you're worried about that. The other super interesting thing about this headset is that it has an adjustable dioptometer, so if you're a glasses wearer, this might be the best headset you can get. You can adjust this for basically any prescription. It's pretty awesome. I wish more VR companies would do stuff like this. More accessibility is incredible. Battery life was good and you can hot swap batteries. According to the official specs, it says 2 hours, but this is largely dependent on what you're doing. From using this, it did feel like it lasted longer than a Quest 3. The Quest 3 battery drains way too fast, and I felt like on the XR Elite, I could actually get a good session in before I had to charge the battery. The mic was also good, but one thing you should be aware of is this headset doesn't have a headphone jack, so if you want to use headphones, you'll have to use Bluetooth or USB-C headphones. The built-in speakers were pretty good though, so you may not have to use headphones at all. For mixed reality, there is full color pass-through, but the pass-through is not as good as the Quest 3. I would say it's better than the mixed reality on a Quest Pro, but still not as good as the 3, and that makes sense. The Quest 3 is the newest headset and comes with the better depth sensor. If you want to use this for mixed reality, I still think you can have a really good time with it. There's also hand tracking and it tracks well, no issues with that. But again, the mixed reality is kind of in a middle between the Quest Pro and the Quest 3. The headset itself is great, but let's talk about the controllers. So the controllers are okay. They do feel a little on the cheap side. It does the job, they track fine, and it's got the standard Meta Quest controller layout, so you can use this with any VR app, but they don't feel as nice to use in my hands as Quest Pro or Quest 3 controllers, and specifically my Valve Index controllers. I won't deny that I'm biased when it comes to this, but the Valve Index controllers have been and are still my favorite VR controllers to use to this day. They just feel great in my hands, but for the XR Elite controllers, they're honestly fine. If you're coming from a Quest or something, they do the job. The tracking fidelity is great. There's really no issues with them except my own bias. Another cool thing about the Vive XR Elite is there are add-ons for eye and face tracking. I didn't try this out myself, but that is an option. The headset is super modular and can be changed to fit your own needs. Apps and software. So for standalone use on the XR Elite, there are some things you should be aware of. The standalone Vive store does not have as many apps as Meta, but that's to be expected. But the apps that are in the Vive standalone store, you can do some really cool stuff with, like VR chat, where you can have 3 or 5 trackers for full body tracking with the same exact fidelity as a base station setup, running entirely on standalone. This is something that's just not possible on a Quest, so if you want the most flexibility with a standalone VR headset, this is the best option out there. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The Vive store overall doesn't have as many apps, but I would say the apps that are here are higher quality and you can do more cool stuff. Alright, let's talk about PCVR. So PCVR is super easy to set up, either with a USB-C cord or over Wi-Fi. You just download the Vive streaming hub and turn it on. Performance was great and the image looked fantastic. This also opens up the XR Elite to the full PCVR library of games, mods, and things like Skyrim or Fallout VR, all that stuff. It's great, no problems with PCVR. You can also connect the Ultimate trackers natively to your PC. I went over this in depth in my previous video, but the trackers can be used with other headsets besides the XR Elite over PCVR, and Vive can be connected to a single dongle. As for the Ultimate trackers, they are absolutely fantastic for self-tracking trackers that don't need base stations. To hook them up to the XR Elite for standalone, just plug it into the USB-C slot, and for PCVR, you plug it into the dongle. For a PC, you may need to opt into the beta, but this also opens up the trackers to be used with other headsets besides the XR Elite. As far as fidelity, these are basically the same as 3.0, but the fact that you can connect Vive to a single USB dongle means you can actually get a bit of a better tracking setup while taking up less USB space on your PC. They are slightly heavier than the 3.0s and have a different design with it being clipped on straps instead of a back screw, but they do include an optional back screw system so you can use third-party straps as well. Just like my last review on these, I'm standing by the fact that they are the best full-body trackers for standalone headsets. You're never going to have drift, and they track pretty flawlessly. You can kick people and stuff like Blade and Sorcery, you can dance in VR chat. I did get a lot of comments on my last video asking if the Ultimate trackers can be used under clothes or under a blanket or something, and the answer is no. The trackers do need a good lighting setup and have to see your room. But gyroscope trackers like SoloMael has a lot of issues in my opinion, and you're gonna have drifting frequently. These don't have that problem. You set it up once and you're good to go. As far as setup for the trackers, it is simple, but it's a little annoying the first time you do it for your room. Doing it for standalone on the XR Elite is actually a lot easier since you just kneel down and look around at a little creature. For PC, you have to take the tracker and kind of scan your room. It's not a big deal, but it is a little bit annoying, but completely understandable since these track themselves. So should you get a Vive XR Elite? If you're in the market for a VR headset, yes, I think this is a fantastic HMD, especially if you want to avoid meta. It works great for PCVR, and the Ultimate trackers are the best self-tracking trackers on the market. Again, you don't need to own an XR Elite to use the Ultimate trackers. They won't work standalone on your Quest, but you can use the Ultimate trackers with PCVR and a Quest 3. But I still think the Vive XR Elite is worth it. Like I said, this is one of the most comfortable VR headsets I now own with the new strap. The adjustable dioptometer is super cool, and there's a lot of awesome features with this headset. Hopefully this helps, and hit subscribe if you want to see more.